It's a place where granite peaks touch the clouds, where icebergs catch the light, and Andean condors rule the sky. Patagonia has it all. I've been documenting wild places for decades, and I'm still seduced by Patagonia's rugged beauty. I'm Art Wolf. Join me on Travels to the Edge. Patagonia straddles Chile and Argentina and stretches nearly 2,400 kilometers from the Rio Colorado in the north to Tierra del Fuego in the south. Torres del Paine in the southern Andes includes some of the most diverse and spectacular parts of this rugged region. I've been coming down to Patagonia for the last 15 years, and one of the places I love to come to, of course, is Torres del Paine. And it's not just because of the spectacular landscapes, it's because there's so many animals to photograph here, one of which is the guanaco. These are great animals of these open plains. One of the reasons they thrive here is they can run away from their chief predator, the puma. This is great. This is a herd of mothers and babies. The babies, known as chulengos, are really probably born within the last month. They're great to photograph because they're so clean and fuzzy and pure looking. And then to have the interaction between the mothers and the babies, they're really chilled out right now, but I bet you when I get closer, they'll start to move around and interact, and that's exactly the kind of behavior I'm hoping for. I like to stay low and really slow. If they're sitting down and all of a sudden I'm silhouetted against a bright sky, it can intimidate them. The more relaxed they become and remain, the better shots I can get. As I approach them, I'm constantly watching their behavior. If they start to move too fast away from me, I'm going to stop, sit down, let them relax. But they're more interested in what's happening between the males chasing each other. The babies are staying close. I think it's a great situation to get some nice shots. The fact that it's overcast right now is perfect because with this many animals, bright sunshine creates a lot of harsh shadows on the animals. It's hard to get a great shot of multiple animals in bright sunshine. I'm choosing to use a fairly small telephoto lens because I'll be able to zoom back and take in more of the animals. If it was just one animal, I probably would shoot a more powerful lens like a 400. But with a group, I always tend to use the wider angles, incorporate more of the animals and the environment. In the distance on the ridge, you can see a guanaco silhouetted. He's watching out for pumas. These are herd animals, and when they sit, they face all different directions, just keeping an eye out for the odd puma that might happen by. That is the male calling. He's moving the women and the babies around right now. This whole valley is a series of small lakes surrounded by very luxuriant green grass, and that is why these guanacos are here. It's great for the babies. It's protected out of the harsh winds up on the higher hills. This is a natural nursery for these guanacos. Speaking of which, right now I've got two babies just staring right at me. In fact, they're so close. I need to make a vertical shot of this. This is a great shot. They're just staring at me, all lined up perfectly. They're very curious at this age. That's it, guys. They're looking straight at me. is fantastic action as these babies just keep running back and forth in front of me. Fantastic.
I think it's important when people travel all the way to Patagonia and ultimately Torres del Paine to actually see the peaks the park is named after. These are very impressive 10,000-foot spires of granite. And on the other end, Cuernos Towers is equally dramatic.
Well, I was just driving up the road, I spotted one of my favorite little animals of this park, a Patagonian fox. So I'm going to go down into this little low area and see if I can't find it. This is a really nice situation with this very, very tame fox. And with the beautiful backdrop of the Andes, I'm shooting a wide angle. It's very rare that you'd be able to get a fox this close. I'm going to try to reposition myself and keep the fox between the mountains and me and also the light. So if I can squeeze around, and I've got his full attention at this point. Beautiful. Now I'm getting in a position where I've got the spectacular mountains behind. Really nice sequence as he walked right in front of the mountains. They're beautiful little foxes. They're known as gray foxes, or in this part of the world, in Patagonia, the Patagonian fox. In very cold environments, very windy environments, animals tend to have smaller appendages, you know, shorter ears, shorter legs, just to retain the heat. He's never been hunted, nor has its ancestors ever been hunted in this great biosphere reserve. Whenever I'm around an animal this close or this tame, I'm keeping my voice moving, often talking to him in very low, reassuring terms. And there's something about breaking that silence that also breaks the tension between the animal and the human. They're really, really quite innocent in their behavior around humans. And for me, it's a great thing because I'm shooting with extreme wide angle with these rugged Cuernos Towers as a backdrop. It gives this fox a great sense of place. Oh, this is really nice. What's your name? Huh? Found a much larger herd. I hope they're not after me. Guanacos are strange animals, but about 15 feet, 20 feet in front of me, there's a herd of about 50 or 60. And this is much denser than the herd that we just were photographing over at the nursery. They're much tighter packed, and they seem so chilled out. I think I can get a lot closer. I'm gonna use one last trick because the sky is so dramatic. I want to really darken it so that the animals themselves really stand out. So I'm going to just use this graduated neutral density filter that I used quite often and just frame this thing. But first I have to take the lens cap off. This is such a great opportunity to get this close to these wild animals. Patagonia really delivers when it comes to that. Foxes that walk right up to you, guanacos that are just chilled out, and it enables me to use these wider angles to take the really dramatic landscapes, which is so indicative of Patagonia. So big skies, big mountains, and wonderful wildlife. I'm walking through an ancient beech forest ravaged by the constant winds that blow down Lago Gray or Lake Gray. And what also blows down this lake are enormous icebergs that have been calved by the Gray Glacier 7 miles up the lake. And it's those icebergs that I'm on my way to photograph. Seven-tenths of an iceberg lies below the surface. We're talking about an enormous mass of ice. What's fun for me when I'm photographing icebergs is the fact that they're constantly rotating and changing shape, always giving me multiple opportunities with the same piece of ice. What I love to photograph about icebergs is the way the light fractures, and although they're not truly blue, they appear really blue. And in this case, some of these bigger ones are amazingly blue. Fantastic. I love this stuff. There's over 300 different species of birds that live in Patagonia, and this is one of the more famous ones, the caracara. It's a bird of prey, very, very tame, and it looks pretty impressive when you see it by itself, but when you see it in comparison to a condor, it's tiny. It's an amazing bird, however. They're full of energy and spunk, and they can walk right up to foxes. They're very unintimidated. Come down to the edge of this lake to photograph a beautiful view of the Cuernos Towers in early morning light, and yet it just isn't happening. There's just no light on these mountains, unfortunately. But what is happening is an amazing, spectacular cloud has formed right over the top of these mountains, and that is now going to be my main focus. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I'm always trying to look for something that may be a secondary subject that becomes my most important shot out of the day. Wow, that looks like a pretty spectacular waterfall. A lot of layers. That's exactly what I like to see in a waterfall, is layers of rock and water going over, and with long exposures, this should be a very, very nice shot. Patagonia is about big. Big mountains, big open landscapes, big glaciers, big rivers, and what those rivers have are big waterfalls. So I can't wait to experience this one. There's different ways one can photograph waterfalls. Most people just tend to shoot a postcard. What I try to do is go in and shoot the details. In this case, there's a series of waterfalls over some steps that I've zoomed in across the river. I put a polarizer on, which takes a little bit of the shine off the water, but more importantly, gives me the ability to take a longer exposure, creating more of a ribbony effect with the water, which creates an artistic slant on this waterfall.
One of the challenges in this windswept environment is to find the serene moments.
After spending several days in Torres del Paine, it becomes painfully obvious that the only time when the wind isn't blowing is early in the morning. And why that's important is if I ever want to get reflections or get a different type of shot other than just the tight shots of the mountains, this is the time, the margin of the day when I'm going to work. I found this tiny little pond next to a road, and I'm going to have to get very low to try to incorporate the reflection of these towers of pine. And with a tripod like this, I have the ability to move the legs independently and literally get it right down in the mud, which enables me to get the angle of the reflection that I'm going to need. And suddenly, what looked like nothing from a position 6 feet above right down into the water looks like a very, very nice scene. And the last thing I'm going to need to do is use a neutral density filter where I'm going to bring it right over the top portion of the frame, because invariably reflections are 2 stops darker than the sky above, and this will bring the entire image into proper alignment. And it looks perfect. I have found a mother and father kelp goose with 8 little goslings. The male is all white on the top and female is gray but beautiful yellow legs. There's 8 little goslings that have probably hatched out within the last week. It is a matter of getting in, getting close, letting them relax to your presence. And some of my best shots have been where the mother's standing and all the little 8 goslings are standing right below it.
My last stop in Patagonia is high in the Andes, in the realm of one of the world's most majestic birds.
The most effective way to photograph condors is to take the camera off the tripod so you can pan with them, because when they literally come so close, they're moving very, very fast. And it would be very hard pressed. This is a beautiful male coming at me right now. Wow. Fantastic. These are huge birds. These are among the largest flying birds on Earth. They can fly as far as 50 to 150 miles in a single day and come back to the same roost at night. They just unfold their huge wings and off they go, up and higher and higher. just love the way they come in with their 10-foot wingspans, 10 feet. That's incredible. When the thermals start rising along the cliffs, they just unfold their wings and up they go. Effortlessly, they can be 1,000 feet above you or 10,000 feet above you. These big males are the ones with the white collars, and they have kind of a interesting head shape. They also have white patches on the back of their wings, so I can always identify them coming in. What's amazing also about these birds is that their entire system of raising chicks is such that they breed only every other year and raise a chick every other year because it takes so long to raise a bird of this size. These birds in the wild will live up to 50 years. They'll mate for life. And I love it when they come down right below me so I can look straight down on them. What's amazing about these birds is that they're looking for other animals reacting to what's happening on the ground. In other words, if there's a dead animal, other animals will react to it. They're looking for carrion. They're looking for a dead guanaco, a dead sheep. They're not choosy as long as it's dead. Shooting with digital allows me to keep clicking. In the past, the minute I had something great, I'd have to be changing rolls of film. These birds are really built for these high Andes, and they just are amazing when you watch them soar right above you. Ah, nice, 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 nice.
The peaks of wild Patagonia guard the fragile beauty of this isolated part of the planet. From its unique wildlife to its dramatic landscapes, Torres del Paine perches on the edge of the earth. I'm Art Wolf. Join me on Travels to the Edge.
This program and 2 additional episodes from the series are available on DVD for $17.95. An award-winning book of Art Wolf's landscapes featured in this series and beyond, Edge of the Earth, Corner of the Sky, is available for $65 plus shipping. To order the book or DVD, call 1-800-440-2651. You can find out more information about this episode and other destinations in the series by visiting our website at travelstotheedge.com.